What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Subliminal here, and today we got another video for you guys. We're talking about and discussing the capital ship gameplay. This is the first video that I'm putting on this second channel. I don't know how many people are actually going to watch this. If you enjoy my content and you want to make sure you get notified about this content, make sure you subscribe, click the bell, and all that stuff. But today we're going to cover the capital ship combat that they talked about, Q&A talks about the Polaris a little bit, and we started discussing the PTDs, the personal defense turrets and torpedoes, the Guardian. We're talking about where is the Guardian, and also was the Guardian actually the ship that was teased at IAE? I disagree with some people. Discussing Easter eggs that they show in these like little weird frames at the beginning end of the video. And a little PSA to solo players to stop buying ships. But yeah, that's what we're covering today. Let's get right into it. Jax?
Amazing.
Wait. Does this mean I was wrong? Wait. Okay, we'll see. But I predicted that the ship that we saw that was silhouetted, that looked like the Guardian, was not the Guardian, and instead a different variant. Because I've seen this image leaked, and it didn't seem to match the silhouette. So I might finally have gotten something wrong, but no, because I don't think that's a silhouetted ship. I guess I really won't know until they confirm it or another variant comes out, but we'll see.
Up next,
unless that's
an
not
old
the
favorite from the show
Guardian.
floor.
The MISC Prospector is the most popular single-operator mining vehicle in the UEE, capable of breaking and gathering 32 SCU of resources without the need for additional staff and investment, like other offerings from Argo and its competitors. With fully customizable performance and a range of upgradable mining heads and gadgets, the MISC Prospector is crafted for miners who mean business. Fitted with numerous quality-of-life features that make extended excursions a breeze.
So they've done a gold standard pass on this. I've never seen that before. I've been in the ship recently, but I wasn't looking around for any
Along
changes.
with hardy defenses against smaller aggressors, this craft is built to handle the demands of deep space resource gathering. Its iconic metallic blue MISC styling speaks volumes, telling the versed tradesperson focused on success in every venture. The Prospector, like the MISC Fortune and every offering from the MISC line of industrial vehicles, blends form and function into practical prosperity and are available for perusal on this year's IAE show floor.
We return now to the IAE show, brought to you from New Babbage, site of this year's Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, and your guide to the future of spacecraft and vehicles in the verse. Today's topic, capital combat, with Rich Tyra, John Crew, and Jared Huckabee. Stay tuned. It's the
These are really good topics. Oh my God. TTD and now capital ship gameplay. Let's go.
IAE show, and it starts right now.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for coming back. We're here for part 2 of our discussion on the life of spaceships and Star Citizen. I want to follow up on something, Rich, that you kind of hinted at in part 1. You mentioned the Squadron 42 demo several times and this experience that was being built at. It's not just a cinematic thing for the start of the show. It's actually seems to be reflective of this capital warfare experience that we're attempting to build here. So I want to ask you outright, how is capital warfare supposed to work? What are we building towards, and why should folks be excited?
I think the first thing to sort of approach is it shouldn't just be the same gameplay as small ships, just scaled up. It needs to be, we talked about progression, it should be a progression of gameplay. So you can't just turn up, lob 50 torpedoes at a ship, press the I win button and go on. You've got to remove those defenses layer by layer. So capital ships have multiple defenses. Obviously they have turrets on them for shooting ships. They also have PDCs for disabling closer targets such as missiles and torpedoes, and then they have physicalized shield emitters, which is what you saw in the demo where Cal Mason sort of kites a Vandal ship into it. So you need to take all those things out in progression to stand a chance against.
Wait, what am I missing with that? What is he talking about? I don't know what this is. Is this something from like an SCL that I'm missing?
Capital ships have multiple defenses. Obviously they have turrets on them for shooting ships. They also have PDCs for disabling closer targets such as missiles and torpedoes.
I'm sorry, let me put chat back up. Squadron 42 demo. Oh, okay.
And then they have physicalized shield emitters, which is what you saw in the demo where Cal Mason sort of kites a Vandal ship into it. So you need to take all those things out in progression to stand a chance against a capital ship.
So it's not just a brute force thing. I know a lot of folks are imagining just coming in with an A2 and dropping a Moab on top of an Idris or something like this. It sounds like there's a puzzle to be solved here. Is that how you would say it, Rich?
Ultimately, capital ship warfare should be a puzzle that you have to figure out. If you actually watch that cinematic for the Squadron demo, you'll notice that one of the lines is, "Hey Cal, I don't think your weapons are large enough to be able to take out that shield emitter, or that shield Jenny, as they say." And he says, "You may be right." And that is actually true. You shouldn't be able to turn up with small ships and small caliber weapons against a huge capital ship. And it's what we touched on in part 1 in terms of the physicalized nature of the damage. If I fire a small caliber pistol at tank, it's not going to do much. The reason why we have like an Ares or a Retaliator is to allow you to soften up the capital ship shield so that you can actually then get access to the shield emitters and the PDCs and the weapons that are actually keeping your fighters away. And the way that the shield faces work is that they're underpinned by physicalized shield emitters, which are then connected to the core shield generator, or in large capital ships might have multiple shield generators.
Well, none of this is new. All this is just them, which is fine. I'm not saying that this is still a really great topic, but if you're watching this and this is like new, this is not new. They've been talking about this for years. Let me just keep
So ultimately, your first foray should be like, okay, which shield face are we going to try and soften up and dampen to weaken it, to be able to then send in our a squad of fighters to be able to target certain shield emitters, another squad to be able to target the PDCs, or in case if you're taking a much larger ship, like a Javelin size, which will have flax. So you'll have to basically figure out, okay, this group or this squadron will take on this squadron will take on this, and this is where the hologlobe comes in terms of you're the admiral of the fleet, you're going, okay, right, I'm assigning you this target, and then if you're a fighter, you're going to then receive markers. And then obviously you're going to be connected to be able to say, okay, go.
That sounds really cool. Every time they talk about like a new thing, you get either Star Wars and or Star Trek vibes. That's really cool. I like that. That's the thing with like a lot of this is like we don't really fully understand until we get like the bigger picture. And they can't necessarily spell everything out to us, maybe because they don't actually exactly know how they're going to do it. But yeah, I've been wondering like what those things can be for anyway. And yeah, that sounds really good. That would be really dope. When we're going to get it is the question, right? I think it could be potentially far out. I'm not looking at this like any of this is like something that we're going to get by 4.0 or maybe even next year. But it is important that we know this stuff now before people spend money on these ships.
Go now, I want you to attack now, because you need to have a coordinated alpha strike. If you just drip feed your damage over time, the capital ship will just be able to absorb it and absorb it. So this is where you need to be able to go, okay, what's my tactics, what's my high level strategy? And then once you've taken out the PDCs and you've taken down a shield phase, that's when you've got essentially two options. One option will be to board, so you'll be able to then use our hacking gameplay, and then obviously you'll have to fight your way through to the bridge to be able to take.
That gave a little bit of insight on when this is going to happen. The Legionnaire was one of the first silhouetted ships teased at the CitizenCon before last year. It was supposed to come out by the end of this year, but it didn't make the cut because the hacking gameplay wasn't in, so they put it on the back burner, and it was not teased for any ship that they're going to be working on in the next 12 months. So from my opinion, that at least that part of the gameplay is not going to be worked on until after we get base building, and they'll be working on that later. So it's gonna be at least a year, I think, before they'll even be working on any of this.
Take over it. Or the other side is then you just, if your mission is to just destroy this ship, if you've taken down those layers of defenses like John says, that's where you then send in the torpedoes. So capital ship gameplay is again planned to utilize all the different roles of the different ships that we've made over the years, and it should be a significant challenge to be able to take out one of those larger ships.
Let's paint a picture here. What's one capital engagement supposed to be?
Well, let's just use save the Idris event,
okay,
if you want to go through.
Yeah, so realistically, when you're coming up to it, first thing you should be doing is scanning it so you know what you're going up against. You want to do a scan on it to work out where are its shield emitters, so then you can then plan, like we want to take the right-hand side shield emitter down. So we'll mark that as a target, give it to that group.
You might be sending in a terrapin or a forward ship to be able to get scan data that then relays that back to you on the Polaris and your hologlobe, to be able to go, okay, now I've got some information to work with, how do I then approach it from there?
Yeah, because one capital versus another capital is probably the worst scenario if it's literally two single capital. They need their fleets to reach their maximum potential, so you should be bringing these support ships with you. So yeah, you've scanned it, you've identified your point where you're going to be attacking, you assign a group of fighters from your ship or from your fleet, take away their fighters, try and attack their turrets, and then you run another group to sort of bring down those shield emitters. The majority of them will be under the skin, so you need to scan to find their locations and then target them specifically.
Using ADS.
Damage penetration.
Or precision targeting, as we should say.
So again, things like the two starfighters are great for this role. So you have the Inferno, the ballistics will penetrate through and damage it. The Iron, great to bring the shields down to allow those ballistics to go even easier to the hull.
You've got to take out the PDCs
as well. So that was the question that I had about energy weapons. Are they still effective against shields? And it sounds like they are. But it also is supposed to be melting the hull, right? Am I misunderstanding that? Yes, melting armor was a plan. Okay. So melting the armor so that you can like expose vital parts of the ship.
Attack missiles and torpedoes. They will also attack other small objects. And so we need to make sure that you've created a safe zone or an entryway and you're punched through those defenses, and then you've got your options of either boarding or destruction, depending on what your objective.
So if you were to get two Polarises against each other with no fleet, it seems to me like you'd have to destroy all of the PDCs before you could even get a torp or a missile in from the turrets. So I'm just talking about like you got a Polaris versus Polaris, and that's it. You got to have all the turrets manned. You take their shields facing down. You start hitting the emitters and the PDCs, and then until they're all down, no one should even bother throwing a torp. So for a lot of the people who are angry that you have to go down to this other room to throw a torpedo, what does it matter anyway if you're going to have a fleet, or at the very least a fully manned Polaris? That's why I didn't really have that big of a issue with the torpedo being down there. Sure, it doesn't really make sense. Why would you put that down there and not have the ability to at least remote into it from like a terminal in the back of the bridge? But whatever. Maybe it's for balance, but regardless, the ship is never going to be effective without a lot of people. And it seems to me like now that I'm hearing what they're saying now about the plans on all this, I feel like if I'm the captain, I'm not really sitting there doing nothing. I can manage power. I can go back to the holo viewer and give information to the fleet on what targets to hit and actually like command the battle. That's pretty fucking dope. Do you have enough friends though for it? Probably not. I don't. Let's go.
Sounds like something ideal for a light fighter, just taking down the PDCs.
Absolutely, yeah. Like light fighter, heavy fighter, but you won't just be able to penetrate the shields on a capital ship because they'd be so heavy. So you'll need to use
the PDCs work like crap in Arena, but in Arena Commander they can. Oh, that's the only place I've ever seen them is in Arena Commander, and they worked really good. They were on point. I had to fire like 3 or 4 missiles at a time to get a couple of them to hit. Scanner for scanner. Yeah, they talked about how the Terrapin is going to gather that information for the captain of the Polaris or capital ships or whatever. Maybe it's just like a guy who's coordinating that. Well, I guess it would be the captain because like that's what we saw on the Squadron 42 demo on the Javelin. It's really just going to be the same thing, just on a higher scale. All right, let's keep it moving.
Relevant weapon rate. That's where really the capital ship main weapons come in, because they're the ones that are actually doing the main damage on the shields to be able to soften it up, to allow their fighters and support ships. You can't just roll up and just try and out DPS it. I mean, you can, but you're rolling the dice. You know, is my ship, capital ship, going to be better than your capital ship? Am I going to be able to maneuver it well? Because that's the one thing to discuss about shield emitters. Right now, you have a shield generator that kind of creates a bubble, and we say, okay, this is this face, right face, left wing. And if you look at the wing, if you shoot the wing from the front and it hits the front of the wing, we just automatically work out like, okay, is that the front face or is that the left face? And for the player, that's not super obvious. So you want to be in understanding like, okay, well, the shield actually hugs the ship. So we need to know, well, actually that's the left face. So you as a player can go, right, that's what we're targeting, that's what we need to bring down, because otherwise these shield generators are so powerful on capital ships, they'll just be coming back.
So that's really important. What I don't like, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I feel like the effects of things hitting the shield are not the way they were when that feature first came out. I don't know how many patches ago it was. I used to be able to like really see like where I was hitting and what was happening. But you don't see that anymore, or at least I'm not really seeing it. And it's odd because we have master modes. When master modes was introduced, they lowered the speeds down, and so now you're flying at SCM speeds, and you're closer, and you still can't see it. It's another vital reason why I think master modes slowing things down is inevitable and a valuable thing to add to the game, because you cannot get enough visual information unless you're closer. The cinematic feeling of that World War II style gameplay is undoubtedly fun for the vast majority of people to be closer when these things happen. But that's just my opinion on that. Let's move on. I don't want to get into that topic right now.
Throughout all of that, we've sort of assumed that the
distances increase on weapon projectiles. I think they're fine for now. Maybe they're going too slow. That by the time they get there, the ship is gone. Torpedoes are useless with PDCs. There doesn't seem to be a stealth alpha strike option against capital ships. It kind of makes sense, right? You've got this big ass ship. If it could just be destroyed because somebody threw a torpedo from somewhere and you never know it came, I don't know if that's good gameplay. Imagine being the victim. Yeah, it sucks for the one guy, but is it really even practical to be able to throw a torpedo at a capital? Like, does that make sense, like sim wise? Anyway, I want to keep moving because I don't want this to be like an hour-long video. I'm like 20 minutes in already, 10 minutes into the video.
Target ship is just sat there.
Absolutely.
You have the opposite, like you're on the ship.
The defender is spinning the ship around, trying to put trying to put their stronger side towards the attack.
You're seeing all this fire coming to this side, so you're now trying to maneuver yourself to avoid that. Counter players, they're trying to take out your thrusters to stop you maneuvering, so it is a big puzzle.
So shields down, PDC is cleared. And that's where this can go from a ship versus ship to a combined arms. thing, which is really what's most exciting to me. This idea that you now have to send troops over to breach, and board the ship.
Yeah, and also you might have to defend against being boarded. So if you're going up against another player, and they've got a Polaris and you've got a Polaris, or when we add the Idris into the game and you're coming up, then you're going to have different mixes of gameplay when you're fighting over whether it's resources, station warfare, all the things that we've discussed previously. We've not really got to end game yet. We're still really at mid game. End game is fleet battles and being able to utilize these large ships, and then that comes back to TTD if you do lose, or you need salvage, or you need repair, or you need to rescue the people that are still on the ship. These types of battles, these types of combat add and are underpinned by so much more gameplay than what we've just discussed today. And I think that's where it starts to connect the loops.
One thing I'm concerned about is performance during these battles. And the most important thing is actually getting players to do this, because if what they described was put in the game today and only with what they have talked about so far, no one's gonna do it. Like, it'll be something that I'll be able to do because I'm a live streamer and I'll put out an APB for people to come, and we could do like a Polaris versus Polaris, like big ship battle, and it'll be really cool and really fun. And then you'll never be able to do it from your home unless you have a group of friends. So the social aspects that they've added or that they teased during CitizenCon need to come well before this. Because if this comes before that, then people are going to be complaining about a useless ship that they don't have anybody to board it with. And I think what they showed during SitCon, as far as the social features, is like, I didn't see anything I disliked. I don't know if there's anything that I would even add. It almost seems pretty much perfect. What they have to make sure that they do is try to make it as frictionless as possible to just join up. Right? You don't have to make friends. You just have to use the game tools to find people who are doing the thing you want to do. You broadcast that you are in your Polaris and you need people to crew. We're going to be going after this NPC faction that has an Idris or something. I don't fucking know, whatever. And then people can like pile in and get together and actually play. Without that, none of this works. Except for the few people who can make their own content.
All right,
like
so
always.
That's just a little bit about Capital Warfare. Thank you so much for sharing. Our viewers are going to be incredibly excited about that. The Polaris obviously makes its debut at this year's IAE, and while these systems are still in development and will continue to come out in 2025 and beyond, just having this vision intact here, people will be able to judge decisions that come in subsequent releases against the direction that we're going to. So thank you so much. Up next, I have to have a very uncomfortable conversation with Rich. He's a player in my D&D group, and he's been a little too min-maxy. So Rich, let's talk about this, shall we?
Absolutely.
The classic returns.
So today on Lore Makers, we're going to talk about Henry Brown, an exciting inventor who in 1886 filed a patent for one of the most exciting inventions of all time, the file cabinet.
So it turns out that in North America, most of the melons that people think are cantaloupes are actually a different varietal of muskmelons.
With the story of the star system with the richest history in the UEE.
It started out as a private detective agency called Pinkertons, and not many people know this, but the Pinkertons actually became the foundation for the US Secret Service.
And so then in order to sell more dictionaries, he changed a lot of the spellings of the word from the original British English into new American spellings.
The system they said couldn't be covered in just one episode.
In Arthurian legend, the wizard Merlin actually had an owl named Archimedes.
And so then with the radiation powering its core, it sort of rose out of the ocean and started destroying the city.
They were right.
You see, the founding fathers, they never intended for us to have Wi-Fi.
Now, the colonel wasn't actually from Kentucky.
This summer,
finally broke.
the Lore Makers return.
And that is how you get out of jury duty.
And so they needed a product that would leave their hair silky and smooth. That was called conditioner.
With a new 365-part series.
So they were never actually lost. The island was purgatory.
Since he was coming from a comedic background, not a lot of people thought Michael Keaton could pull off the part.
Lawmaker's Guide to the Galaxy. Welcome to Earth Edition. Nothing you want to know, everything you need to know.
So at the end of the day, down to brass tacks, there is nothing better than a breakfast burrito. I don't care what the breakfast taco lobby says.
And so then they looked at the baby and they said, your name will be Chris.
The RSI Polaris arrives on day 5 of this year's expo. And instead of asking those who built it what it's supposed to be like, we went to the folks who know these vehicles inside and out, the testers dedicated to putting power through its paces. We return now to the premiere of Pew Pew with the Polaris, presently in progress.
The torpedoes are very interesting anyway. They're bespoke for the ship.
It's the first time?
Yeah, first time S10.
But they are massive.
Yes.
I think they do twice the damage of a size 9, which is crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Move slow, but they're cool.
Yeah.
Especially when they hit.
They're big, slow missiles.
Yeah. Might need changing, but we did do jousting with it during the PT. And
jousting?
Yeah, well, they were just coming at each other and you just see them fire off and it's awesome. It's good for a battle, for sure.
All at once, they come one after.
Yeah, they're slightly staggered, so you get like 1, 2, 3, but there are 4 separate tubes. It's not like when you have it on the Tally or when you have it on the Eclipse.
It means you get to appreciate every single one that comes.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus you get 28 of them.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You can do a lot of damage in a Polaris, let's put it that way.
With 28 torpedoes.
Yeah. And the revolving barrel that they're in, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you can see them when you're in the torpedo room. You can like see them get loaded into the racks while you're in there.
Yeah, there's like glass in front of it. Looks really sick when the torpedo like rolls into it.
The chin turret on the front, they now have bespoke guns on.
Yeah.
They're now, I think, size 6, and they were previously size 5, but they're completely bespoke to the Polaris. We basically made it as big as we could so that you could still see out of it. And the top man turret, I think, are now quad size 4.
Are they repeaters? Or,
they're laser.
Is it the ones on the side that have cannons?
The chin turret is ballistic.
You also have 2 remote turrets.
Yeah, one of them is just like repeaters and one of them is missiles at the back.
Which you get plenty of ammo for.
Yeah, those are your 2 support seats in the bridge as well. So you're like in the command deck. I think it's the most guns we have on any ship at the minute.
Is it not challenging like with the Hammerhead?
The Hammerhead is going to be close, I think.
Yeah.
But it's a similar experience, but with bigger guns. If you have a full crew, you're going to do an awful lot of damage.
Well, you also make use of them when you got smaller ships swarming around.
Yeah, 100%.
Having all the turrets around the ship really helps with that. Not that they can do much damage to you anyway, because obviously, strong shields on the ship.
It's going to be probably the strongest fighting ship we've got, like combat ship we've got. They're pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It essentially means if you're getting fired by missiles, the guys that you've got on your turrets don't have to worry about them. You can sort of leave those to the PDCs and let the people in turrets shoot the actual ships.
I don't know though. If you time it properly, you can get some to hit. Not with the torps, but maybe if you time it properly to where like somebody in a Firebird throws like 6 missiles and then you can somehow time the torp getting there. I guess it would be really hard, but I think you could definitely overwhelm the PDCs.
Yeah, won't hit everything,
but it is going to be not practical.
Countermeasures. It's just
you got capital countermeasures as well.
Oh, right. Yeah, won't hit everything, but you still got.
That's the Fury, isn't it? Oh well. Yeah, what is that?
Usual countermeasures. It's just
you got capital countermeasures as well.
Oh,
I mean, not Fury,
which are massive.
Yes, I've seen the smoke screen that comes out.
Yeah, and you can stack them because they're bigger anyway. If you stack a few of the flares up and then set them off at once, it's like a fireworks display. It's crazy. But yeah, the PDCs, when we did the first implementation of it, and I was testing it with Chris Danks, who's the designer, and seeing the first time a missile locks, and then they immediately sit up, turn, and then as it hits, they start firing. It's pretty awesome.
That's really cool.
They do only work if a missile is locked on. So if someone has missile lock, then the PDCs will work, because that's how they function.
Yeah.
But if someone's just dumbfiring missiles or torpedoes at you, they won't see it.
People have to get really good at dumbfiring missiles.
They might have to.
I mean, it's a big target, so I wouldn't worry too much.
No.
So yeah, guys, that's our review of the RSI Polaris. We hope you guys enjoyed. Wait, guys, we need to talk about all the 6 toilets.
I think the strat. What did he just say? My bad. I think the strat for, like, right now, getting a torp to hit, this may not work, but maybe fire 2 torpedoes, then fire another 2, and have something like a Firebird follow the torps in. And when the first 2 torps get, like, destroyed, then the Raven would have to, or the Firebird would have to time it correctly to throw a volley of missiles at the PDC so that they don't hit the torpedoes. But that, I guess that would only work if the time between the first couple torpedoes isn't too long, right? The first initial thought I had was maybe you fire all 4, and the second that the first one gets destroyed is when the Raven would throw the whole volley. But will it be quick enough? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. That could work. Fire all 4 at the point at which the first one gets destroyed. Fire a full volley from the Firebird, and those will overwhelm, and maybe the final torpedo will actually hit. Dry fire their torps on stealth bombing run. That's true. You could dumb fire it and never actually lock on. It's pretty complicated. I think I could get better at it. I tried it a little bit, and I was able to do it in the Firebird because you have so many. You just kind of like carpet balance it, but I think at the speed the torpedo like launches it could be kind of hard. You have to get really, really, really close, like damn near crashing into it. But anyway, we'll see. So, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. So, I'm sorry, did I miss?
Show floor.
That's what I missed. Coming soon to Spectrum Channel 4.0. That's fine. There was too many damn ships releases this patch anyway. I got kind of burned out doing first looks. I barely got that last one out. Did they tell us this back at SitCon? I might have forgotten that part. I don't know why I was expecting it to come out now. They did not. Did they tell us it was going to come out during IAE? Then if they told us that it will release this year, then that to me means 4.0, because they told us what will release during IAE, the Freelancer Starlancer Max. So if they're saying that it's going to come before the end of the year, then that'll obviously have to be 4.0. So then, in my opinion, they did tell us that, and just not the exact words, because we're not going to get any ships released between the end of IAE and 4.0. Whatever new ships we're going to get are going to come out in 4.0. I don't know why I expected it to be today. I guess I just got too overexcited or whatever. But this, in my opinion, does not look like the silhouetted ship. So let's pull that up for a second here. Yeah, nah. Wait. Nah. Sorry. Nah, that ain't it, boys. Yeah. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Nah, no way. Hold on. I'm gonna look at it more. I need to see the lights. The lights should be a pretty good tell. Which I don't know if they're really going to show the lights being on. Okay. Wait. Well, those could be maneuvering thrusters. Let me go back. But those lights are in the back. They're not in the front like this. If those are lights, oh, maybe they're not lights because now I don't see them. Maybe they're a reflection or maneuvering thrusters that came on for a second. But like, where is this, right? Like it does not. And there's people that are going to still argue with me in the comments about it. And I could be wrong. Like, I don't know for sure. Fuck. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. I almost thought for a second that this thing here was that, but it's not. Unless it's rotated. I'm trying to prove myself wrong here. Okay, so we've got, wow, this is such an odd design for a ship. Wouldn't we see that gun at this angle? Wouldn't we see that gun sticking out here? Oh, let me go back to that frame. Okay, so now we do actually see the lights. Maybe. Oh. But no, like, okay, ignoring the lights. The main reason for me being skeptical is like the shape of this. It doesn't make sense. No. This is a different ship. This ship right here looks, let me look at chat. Which one is the racing variant? Because that's my thoughts too. What are we looking at right here on the screen right now? What do you guys think? Yeah, I mean, no one knows. There's no consensus in chat. This is the fighter ship. With, so it's supposed to be a heavy fighter. And I guess these are like, what, 2 size 5s, if I had to guess? But again, I can't see that big ass size 5 here. Like, yeah, somebody in chat said the one's folded in, one's not. Duh, I get that. But this weapon is centered. So relative to the pilot, and we can go back and look at the animation, there shouldn't be any difference. That should be in the middle at the same exact height, maybe a little bit, like we're a little bit lower than the angle that we're seeing. So that weapon should cut across into this area, and we should be able to tell that what it is. Oh. Yeah, that just solidified it for me. Right? Damn, I wish they zoomed out a little bit more. Yeah. There's no way you don't see that weapon from there. And the most important thing, the first thing that I notice is that this shape does not match that. Wait. I kind of saw it for a second. Fuck. Where's the light? Is that it up there and it's not on? Where is this? Where is that? This part back here is like a not part of like that, the arm, like it may seem in the silhouette. So I thought for a second that maybe that's why this looks different. I still could be wrong, but I'm still like 90% sure that this is not a combat ship. I think somebody in chat saying it's a racing variant. I haven't read everything the chat's saying, so maybe somebody like has some solidifying, like maybe they've said something somewhere else. But in my opinion, the reason why I think that this is a racing ship is the scale doesn't make sense and the guy's not holding a weapon. Every other combat ship has a guy who's holding a weapon. This guy is chill. Outside of actually like having the ship in game, and this is about as good as we're gonna get. Like, where is that? What is that? Why don't we see that? Could that could be this? Where is that? Shouldn't we be able to see that from here? Yes. It's like well, here's the thing. If you're looking for the ship to be the same ship, you're going to find things that make it look that way, obviously, because like it's a different variant in my opinion. So I keep seeing things that are like, oh wait, maybe it isn't. But then I keep seeing equal amount of things that have nothing to do with it. Where are these? Okay, hold on. So look, it looks like the lighting here is on this part of the nacelle. No, it's got stuff on the front too. Why isn't that light showing up here? Did they just decide to not turn on all the lights in that? Possibly, but unlikely. And what I'm looking for is whatever those two things are that are poking up right there. I don't see those. Ship's moving kind of fast. It's kind of small. I could be wrong. Guns. Let me see if there's anything in that set of frames back there that. Yeah. Whatever is sticking out here, I would be able to see because it's most likely mirrored on that side. I don't see it. Yeah, I don't see it. Explain where that is. Oh. I mean, come on, boys. We have every angle. And it's simply missing things. Like, you cannot tell me that. Where is that? Somebody said that the ships are missing their weapons. I saw that in chat, that some ships are missing their weapons. I don't know what you're talking about. The Star Lancer Max has its weapon there. It could be possible. Like, understand that, like, I am still skeptical. This ship could be missing its weapons for sure, but it also could be hidden and you just can't see it from the angle. That's the tracker. Okay, that is missing the weapons. Because it does come with weapons. Okay. So this shows the hard point, but no weapons on. Okay, so you're right. Some of them are missing their weapons. Okay. I still don't think that's enough to make it not another variant. it's still missing. I think I kind of see that part, but again, that could just be available in another variant. But what is that? Why isn't that there? Could they have changed it? Yes. What is that? That doesn't match what we have here. I understand landing mode is different. I still don't understand where it matches up. Please understand, I'm hearing everything. It doesn't seem to match up. It would be nice if they just showed it to us fucking landed.
Up next,
I just want my Guardian. No clue why they didn't just sell it today. It's not ready. Honestly, that could actually be a marketing thing. They could be like, yeah, you know what? We kind of sold. We've got a lot of ships going available for sale this IAE. Let's hold off a little bit and give something for people to buy. So yeah, it could be ready, and they could just be holding it off just so that you can have that time to have your wallet recuperate. Or they bring it in later in the expo. That would be odd. Why wouldn't they release it on the manufacturer's day? But hey, who knows? I don't know. All I'm doing is speculating. Okay, so what's going to be exciting about? Who is that? What? So in my opinions, this looks like a salvaging ship for Misk, I think is what I was saying. That's right. I said earlier in the other video that there was like a multi-crew prospector. No, I think it's going to be a salvaging ship. I could be wrong. It could be like a duo type of multi-crew mining ship, but I think it's going to be salvaged. That would make more sense. But this is definitely, no one's going to disagree with me on, we have this. You see how when the ship matches up, like you can see it, you see that, that's there. Like this is irrefutable, but the Fury or the Guardian is not irrefutable in my opinion. Are they? Oh, they're teasing this social media influencer lady. I remember seeing her before, like last year or something. I don't think that they're teasing. Could they be teasing space whales actually like being in the game and working? Because we don't have them currently, right? Maybe, yeah, maybe in 4.0. Oh wow, I didn't know the prospector had that. Oh yeah. It's a prospector salvage. It's a prospector, but for salvage. Like literally. Like it's a 1-to-1. You know what I mean? That's dope. What are they gonna call it? I don't want to talk about leaks in the video. They should have talked about this today. Well, we know they'll talk about it in the next episode, but it's kind of odd. They talked about the Polaris and Capital Ship stuff today. They probably, if this is going to be in the next episode, I don't know. We'll have to see. Are we actually going to get that one April Fool's vehicle that we got? Big Benny. Okay. In my opinion, the best bet for people to right now is not buy these larger ships. In my opinion, the Star Lancer and larger, people should not back those unless you understand that it may not be practical for you to use later on down the road. I honestly would just hold off the 4.0 regardless. All right, yeah, so that's my thoughts on the IAE show episode 2. I'm not sure what channel I'm putting this up on. If I do put it up on the main channel, it'll be the last time I put one of these videos up on the main channel, or you might be watching this on the second channel, in which case, if you're not subscribed to my main channel, go subscribe to that. All the channels that Subliminal has. Peace out. See you in the verse. Okay. It's so awkward talking to the camera.